Welcome back to Spirit You. It's me, Danny, and today I want to talk about the projections, or rather, understanding the projection of your own energy or of your own spirit. It's been a while since I recorded, so please, give me a break. As you can tell, there's been a lot of changes, like location. And just to keep things short, I've finally got a good break from work. It's the holiday season right now, and coincidentally, I got a break from work. But anyway, let's move on. So, understanding the projection of your own energy, or the projection of your own spirit. I wanted to talk about this today because I watched a video on Instagram about someone explaining the projection of the energy you have towards others, and how it's sort of an illusion, because at the end of the day, all that we really need to focus on is our own energy. It was along the lines of that. I'll go back to my notes just to clarify that. But I saw this Instagram video and it made me think a bit, and I wanted to talk about a few things of the video. So it's a bit of a critique. It's what the content creator created the video. It's actually beautiful. Like, the message that they gave is still amazing. It's still beautiful, and it's a good spiritual teaching that all of us can learn something from. But I like the case scenario she presented, and I wanted to go a bit deeper into that, open it up a bit more, and then give my take and how I would approach certain things, because there's some things I didn't agree with. A lot I did agree with, but I just wanted to make the most of what she brought out and add my little sprinkles of seasoning on it. Let me have a quick look at my notes. Yeah, so the main, I might as well go through the whole thing now. The main idea of this talk, and it's gonna be a long one for anyone that has ever bothered to listen to my lectures, for lack of a better word. Anyone who's ever bothered to sit and listen to me and enjoy my ramblings, they'll know that I like to go really deep and talk a lot. I might not go as deep as other people and as other philosophers and spiritual masters and not. But hey, I'm still a philosopher and spiritual master, and I wanna really hit some truths on the head, or at least face some nicer depths of ideas. So yeah, I'm not planning to make this one brief, but hopefully I can fit it all into one nice talk. So let's go. So like I said, the main topic I want to talk about is understanding one's own projections of their own spirit, or of their own emotion, their own feeling, their energy. When we talk about our energy or our spirit, for lack of a better word, or for most people to understand, we're talking about how we feel inside. That is what, in a crude sense, what our spirit is. And then so when we feel a certain way inside, we sort of project that feeling to the outside world. And as on the Instagram video I watched, as they explained, that feeling, that energy, that spirit that we project out into the outside world to people, places, things, situations, it, in a sense, reflects back to us. I will go deeper into what the video says and all, but let me run this introduction first. So we're going to talk about that, the projection of our energy. I want to briefly introduce the Instagram video I watched. So this Instagram video I watched is by a content creator, if that's the correct word. And the what do you call it? The handle, the tag, or the handle. The handle is Simplifying Sam. So it's a beautiful girl, and she talks about internal development and ways to navigate this world with a higher spiritual sense. So she's spreading good words. And the video she talks about is about projections. The main content of this video, it explains how when we feel something, us, like if you watch the video, us, and then let's just say we have another person, however I am feeling, I will project it, or I will, in a sense, I may believe that I'm sharing that feeling to this outside entity, whether it's a person, an object. So I will feel like I am sharing how I feel to this outside entity. But what she explains in her video is that, in a sense, we are actually not truly sharing our feeling inside with another. It is actually all just an illusion. And when we do share our feeling, our energy, our spirit inside with another, that feeling actually gets reflected back to us. That is a simple spiritual, or in my words, energonomic concept that I've explained several times. Because, when you have one spirit and you share it to another, they'll most likely embody it and share it back. And a crude example how we can understand this in the real world is like, if I'm angry towards someone and I show that anger to them, they're going to get angry at me back, and I'm just going to feel that anger. She goes on the video explaining, I shouldn't be explaining the video first. Look, I'll talk more about the video first, but let me lay the intro. So I'm going to talk about the video. I'm going to talk about how I want to critique it, what I like about the case scenario she presented. And then I'm going to break down it all, and then give my share of what I like and what I don't like, the advice she gives at the end, and the advice I would like to give, given that I've now given my peace of mind, or my ideas in this case scenario. I'll go back to explaining what she says in the video. And look, if anything, before I explain more, go watch this video for yourself. I think in the future, if I can somehow figure out how to get a link to the video and stuff, or maybe you can easily find it on her page, and her handle is simplifying.sam. I think her name is Samantha. Yeah. So she talks about how the process of us sharing this emotion or this energy to others, and the fact that it actually gets reflected back to us, is just, it means the thought or the idea of us projecting and sharing this emotion with someone else, it's just an illusion. It's not actually happening, because all that eventually at the end of the day happens is that we get it back to us. So if we're feeling happy and we share that out to someone else, it's not that we shared it out to someone else, it's that it actually just reflects back to us, and then we get that happiness in response. We share negativity, that negativity bounces back to us. And yeah, like I agree to that in a sense, to an extent. But of course, the human experience, it doesn't seem that simple and black and white. And that's why I wanted to add my pieces of mind to this case scenario. Because the whole point of me bringing spirit to you is so all of us out here can understand more what's happening at, you know, a more defined level through spiritual eyes, and at least from a spiritual scope, so we can actually see what's happening in more detail, not just the black and white A plus B equals C. But what the Instagram reel of Simplifying Sam does explain, it's not wrong, definitely not. I just feel like now I can add more to the case scenario she's explained. She goes, so with that example, now that we see that how we feel and what we embody inside, and then when we share that, when we project that out, it reflects back to us. She goes on with her take-home message of, that's why the spiritual masters and the enlightened ones before us, they teach everyone to embody a sense of love and peace, and to not harbor these negative emotions within us, because as long as we harbor these negative emotions within us, we're just going to get them reflecting back to us. But if we embody and we feel the happy, more positive, constructive, loving emotions and spirits within us, then in turn that will get reflected back to us, and it'll all amplify. So, you know, I totally agree with that message, 100%. So let me see how I wanted to go about talking about this. I know for those who listen to me, whoever or if ever that happens, because it has to, whether I like it or not, the world will eventually listen to me, especially once I'm gone. But anyway, for those who listen to me, you'll know that I like to explain everything from the start, from, you know, the baby steps up, and paint the whole picture. So let me paint this whole picture. We'll talk about the spirit, the embodiment of it, the projection of it. I want to explain how it all works. I want to explain it deeper, the who, what, where, when, why of, you know, the projection, the embodying spirit that we have, the reflection. I want to explain that. I want to explain the environment, all that. Then I want to go explain, while all this is happening, what does it all mean? How can we conceptually take wisdom out of now understanding what's all happened? And then, you know, I'll share some effective responses, because the main effective response that the Instagram video has given us is the ultimate one. It's the most beautiful one, which is embody love. And so that we spread love more out through the world, creating this beautiful world for ourselves and hopefully for others, which is the ultimate goal. So ultimately for others. But I also want to give other types of take home messages, and leave everyone better equipped to face this weird and wonderful world. Alright, so hopefully by this time you've all watched that short video that Simplifying.Sam has created and shared. It's beautiful. And we get a basic understanding of what she means by the illusion of sharing the emotion. Is that how she says it? I'll go back and rewatch it, but either way, it doesn't matter. I already know what I want to say. The first thing we can break down is us as a individual, as a self, and how we embody a spirit or how we embody an emotion, an energy. Let's just say it's me and an outside entity, water bottle. The initial feeling I have within me once I encounter this outside entity. I don't want to say water bottle. Let's use a more crude example. Let's just say my work boss. I think she used one of those examples. So when I first encounter my work boss, I'm going to have a specific feeling within me, a specific energy within me, a spirit. I'm going to have embodied a specific spirit. And then the details and degrees of how this spirit will exist, it's going to depend on a whole bunch of things, like how I felt just a few minutes ago, how I've been feeling the whole day, like how has the tone been set for the whole day, what were the most recent interactions I had before interacting with my work boss, what setting am I and the work boss are we in at this current moment of engagement. Even little minute things like what's the temperature, what am I wearing, the level of my hygiene, am I well fed or not, is my mind distracted with useless nonsense, or is my mind focused on the exact thing I want to discuss with my work boss. Lots of little factors involved, and they all shape of how my spirit is. There's going to be the general spirit that I'm going to have embodied, and that general spirit is going to be shaped by all those little factors. So a good example of a general spirit that I will embody is I'm going to be in happy, productive work mode. That means whatever the job is, my mind and my spirit is going to be very focused on accomplishing those tasks. And I'm going to be in a sense of energy or urgency to want to attempt those tasks and complete them. So hopefully for all of you out there, when you do attend your occupational duties, you are in a productive spirit where you are ready to create, make, work, and process. Hopefully that's the spirit you embody, because that's the whole purpose why we're there in the first place, right? To be in that spirit and to create, use the number one human superpower that we have, creation. Whether it be, I don't know, creating a drink behind the bar, welding a door frame, or I don't know, creating a safe environment for people to feel open, whatever. We're in our occupational setting, and hopefully we're in good spirits for that specific setting. Whether we're happy or sad, that's a critique for all the workplaces out there. I don't want to get involved with that, but all these things will be part of like the main spirit I'm in. Oh, and also another part of the main spirit is I see a particular individual, my boss. I'm going to embody a spirit that, oh shit, I'm talking to this boss. I better fit into the type of energy and spirit that is appropriate to talk to this boss. I'm not going to talk to this boss like he's my enemy, nor am I going to talk to this boss like he is my child that I'm nurturing and teaching. nor am I going to talk to him like he is my crazy ass ex-girlfriend that was very abusive to me. I'm going to talk to him in a professional manner, and however the relationship was built. So I'm going to embody that spirit of communication when engaging with him. So that's how I'm feeling right then and there. Now, all the little factors I was mentioning before, like, if I'm fed, if I'm hungry, if my mind's too busy thinking about something else and all that, that's all going to affect what kind of spirit I project out. If I'm happy or not, that is going to reflect. It's going to project. And eventually, with that projection, reflect back to me. So this is the bit of a critique that I wanted to give in this case scenario that she was explaining. Yes, the spirit that I embody, and all of a sudden the spirit that changes with that engagement, it is going to project and reflect in a sense. But it's not that simple in human pace, in the human time. Does that make sense? Wait, I shouldn't say human time. I'm saying human times because, as beings that only live for a certain amount of years, we perceive time at a certain pace. And so at this certain slow pace, because, apparently the universes and galaxies exist for billions of years, and yet we're only not even a percentage of it, our pace is going to be very slow. And so we're going to notice things a lot more differently. We're not going to notice that, hey, I'm feeling this way, so it all of a sudden reflects back onto me. We notice all the little micro factors that are involved in this engagement. I don't believe it's an illusion I don't believe it's an illusion, like what was stated in that Instagram video, that whatever we feel inside doesn't get shared, because I don't believe that. I reckon it does get shared. Maybe I missed the point she was trying to make. But of course, whatever we're embodying out there and then we feel we're sharing that emotion, of course we are sharing it to an outside person. I think a lot of, let's just say, spiritual practitioners, I think they like to embody the philosophy of everything is only us within ourselves, and it's only actually just everything else out there is just an illusion, and we're all just projecting and perceiving whatever's happening out there. Which, yeah, I do agree and believe. But whether it's true or not, I'm still here in this simulation, and my avatar, my character, is still interacting with an NPC over there, or another online player. So whether I like it or not, what I say to this online player and how I interact with this online player, it's something. Whether it's the truth or not, it's still something I'm perceiving, and it's all that data that happens during this interaction, that's still happening, and it's still for me to analyze, perceive, and react to. So maybe ultimately, yeah, it's all fake and it's all just happening in our heads because we are the gods, living different experiences. But that doesn't change the fact that, hey, when I interact with this person, I actually did share a bit of energy. And yes, they did share it back. But to say it's all just a fake illusion, maybe it is, but it's not helpful right now. I don't believe it's helpful to look at it that way. It's helpful when we look at it in the grand scheme of things. But either way, we're dealing with something, and let's look at it a bit more, I guess, Is it wrong to say objectively? Let's see why, in a sense, it's not an illusion. And hey, when I share an emotion to someone, it makes a difference. I want to explain why things can be different. I don't know if viewers will recall one of my first examples of spirituality or of energenomics, but it's the example of a man walks into a shop, talks to the shopkeeper, and then he leaves the shopkeeper feeling a certain way. So, for example, a happy man talks to a happy shopkeeper, he leaves the shop happy. A sad man talks to a happy shopkeeper, he might leave the shop happy, he might leave the shop sad. So with this example this analogy I'm using to further explain the example, the case scenario of this Instagram video, whatever feeling I project out there to another, it can be reflected back, but it depends on how deeply I'm feeling that and how much my communication or my projection affects that outside entity. Because let's just say I'm in a really good mood and I'm so happy, and I'm so happy to see my boss. Hey boss, such a great day. You know, I feel like I'm accomplishing everything. Everything's going well. Everyone's happy. What's up? I hope you're having a good day too. And I'm sharing that positive feeling. But this boss could be really, really sad deep down inside. Maybe something so tragic happened to him and it's really shattered his spirit, or it's really brought his spirits down. Even if what I share with him reflects back and, you know, he's all right, like, you know, he smiles back, oh, hey, thanks. You know, it might not always reflect back that way. Maybe if I try to be nice to him, that happiness doesn't reflect back because I don't feel him with enough positivity to raise his energy up to a nice, happy level. He might still just be raised up a bit, but still sad, still below the threshold. Maybe another example is if I'm really, really pissed off and my boss is really, really, really happy. This is a very common example for a lot of people out there, unfortunately. I'm really pissed off. My boss is happy as hell. I complain to my boss about what I'm pissed off of in hopes that he might make a difference about it. He's too happy with his own life. My negativity is not enough to sway him out of his positive energy. And unfortunately, the message of unhappiness that I'm trying to communicate to him to maybe incite some change is rendered ineffective. See, is that a reflection? It isn't a reflection in the sense that all I'm getting is the negative feelings back, because now I feel like this motherfucker didn't, you know, even listen to me properly or understand what I was trying to say. There's that sort of indirect reflection, but it's not like my straight up unhappiness made him unhappy. He was still embodying enough positive energy within himself to not let negative energy outside affect him. When I talk about it in this sense, it kind of negates the concept of whatever I share out there coming back to me just as a reflection because it's only an illusion. It kind of negates that, because look, we're all people, and even though we're all just ourselves, we're still communicating with other people that have their own consciousness, their own sense. The fact that spiritual practitioners try to teach like, oh, everything only happens with ourselves and everyone else is an illusion, everything else is an illusion, it's not really happening. Just saying that out, isn't there some sort of intention to communicate with another, to hopefully raise another's vibration, elevate their energy, get them into a higher consciousness? Like it involves engaging with another entity. It's sort of hypocritical in a sense. What's the right word? To say one thing but then act another. Like it's like, yo, it ain't a reflection. I'm talking to another entity that can respond just like I respond. Just it all depends on how he's feeling right now or what their spirit is. So I don't completely agree with the illusion thing. Maybe ultimately in the grand scheme of things, like when we're talking about like the milliseconds of the universe, yeah, maybe it's just that insignificant that the chemical reactions happening, you know, the quantum mechanics happening between electrons and atoms, blah, 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 blah. It's so quick and minute that we don't notice it. But here, while we are in this form, whatever this form is, because I see myself as a creature, a human, an elf, whatever. I like to think I'm an elf. I'm not a human. All you humans there live in Hollywood and shit. I'm an elf. Well, anyway, when I'm down at this level, this pace, I'm seeing the reactions, the chemical reactions, the spiritual reactions, the energetic reactions. You know, the quantum, whatever. I keep using that word. I don't fully understand it. So, you know, at least I'm admitting it there. But I'm there, then and there, seeing that. And to me, it's not so much an illusion. It's happening. But I don't want to call it an illusion, because it does matter what's going on in the environment, how the outside party is feeling, how I'm feeling, the situations, like all these factors all add up, and it all affects ultimately the interaction, the engagement, the spiritual engagement, which all interactions with everything is actually spiritual and ergonomic anyway. But it's all affecting. So I don't like to say that it's, you know, actually an illusion and all that. And then I don't like, so I agree with the next point, but the way that the next point was gone about, given the first example or the first explanation, I'm not that comfortable with it. So given that it's all, you know, an illusion and all we're doing is reflecting back whatever we're going inside, now let's just make sure, you know, we're all loving and inside, so that it all comes back. Beautiful message. I love that. But I want to be a bit more real and more down at this scale. I want to be more like, you know, at this present moment scale where everyone is still sort of stuck in this matrix. I want to explain this so, you know, we eventually get out of this matrix, because we can get out of the matrix like in a split second. But some people still need to see the light out of the darkness. So the reflection, I'll explain the reflection. I guess we could say the reflection is how, when we encounter an outside body, however this outside body projects its energy upon us, it's up to us how we receive that energy, that spirit, and what we reflect or project in response to that energy. Because the reflection is still a response. Even though light reflects off certain surfaces and bounces back, we see it refract as it engages with many other surfaces and, you know, turn a certain way and go a different way. it's still a response. And so, yes, it's good for us to embody love and harmony and peace. I have to teach everyone what actual love is, because hey, when we talk about love here on this channel, when we're talking about love, I'm not talking about desire. I'm talking about the actual love, the acceptance of everything. That is what love is. Love is acceptance of every single thing. This thing's positive to this thing's negative to this, blah, 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 blah. Accept it all. That's when you find love. And that's when nothing can actually shake you, because everything you accept for everything for what it is. That is what love is. And because when you're in that state of love, it's no longer about what's negatively affecting you, what's positively affecting you. You're already at that higher level where all you can do is just allow things to grow. Well, anyway, of course, hopefully everyone will embody that eternal love. But for now, while we're still down here, let's get us closer to that. So, whether we like it or not, we're going to have to face negative things out there in the world. Like maybe the negative attitude from the boss, the negative attitude from ourselves that we project to others, and it reflects back to us. We're going to have to do all of those things. So hopefully, when we find the right time and space and build the skills and techniques to deal with such interactions, hopefully at the end of the day, we produce a net positive of positivity and reduce the negativity. What did I want to explain? I wanted to explain a certain point. Give me a moment to think. Give me one moment. Let me pause this for a second while I think. I remember why I wanted to talk about this. I don't want people to just become tolerant of any energy that they receive out there in the world, because it's good to remind people to embody love and acceptance and all that, but that doesn't change the fact that there's still a lot of not so positive energy that will be projected towards us, that will be emitted towards us. And this might make other people upset, but I don't think it's good to tolerate such behavior all the time, because we're doing a disservice to others by not showing them how their negative behavior affects others and affects themselves. We're not doing anyone justice by refusing to reflect the energy that they put out. So yes, it's good for us to eventually all embody love and stuff. But while most people are still down there in the dumps, in the lower vibrations, they need to learn the lessons of the lower vibrational world. The lessons of the lower vibrational world will eventually teach you to elevate your frequency and not be in that low vibrational frequency. Means the same thing anymore. Because being tolerant of people's bad energy only allows them to continue it. A direct reflection might not always be the best thing. For example, this guy disrespects me. I disrespect him back, and then no one goes home happy. But I could reflect that disrespect by showing the other person like, hey, that's not tolerated. You're going to get negativity back, but in not a so directed, destructive way, but in a more of, I will leave you to your destruction. If you want to continue this, then I will leave you in your space to destroy yourself. It doesn't have to be at my hands. I think that's the higher frequency that I wanted to add to this case scenario. I didn't want things to just be black and white. We have to consider the different frequencies and vibrations that people are at. How do I explain this? What's a good example? Let's just say the boss. Me engaging with the boss. Me, a worker, the boss, an outside party. Wait, I forgot. I lost the example, but I have another point I wanted to explain. Wait, give me a moment. Actually, I think I remember what I wanted to explain. So I think I'll go a step further because I haven't completely meditated on that point I want to explain, but I know what I want to explain further in this lecture. And that's the responses. So we're understanding what's happening in the case scenario, or at least in my version of the case scenario, where, hey, I embodying the spirit, let's just say positivity, happiness. I project it onto the outside party. How will they receive it? Whatever, like we just get that, they're going to receive it, and eventually they're going to respond and project whatever spirit they have now embodied. Then after my interaction, they're going to respond and reflect it back. I want us to look at what the results of the engagements can mean to us and how we can make good decisions. Because ultimately the ultimate goal is we all embody love, and all that love just gets reflected back and forth and throughout the whole thing. But while we're still here, at this dancing with all the different random frequencies all around, while we're still here, let's look at ways we can perceive and respond to these engagements. I wrote notes to this, didn't I? Let me put on my glasses. So, for example, let's look at what they mean. If I engage with another human, let's say I'm feeling positive, I'm feeling good, I want to spread good feelings to other people. If I engage with another person and they respond to me negatively in kind, it might be a good indicator to me that, hey, where I'm at right now, it's not working. Like me trying to emit positivity, I'm not getting that reflected back to me. Maybe this is not the place where I should remain, because right now, what do I sense? Yes, disharmony. Versus if, hey, I was feeling negative, and then someone I engage with someone and they respond to me negatively back, they reflect that negativity. It's actually harmony. So, but I don't know if this is where I should stay. At least there's harmony. Like, hey, like I'm being hateful, they're being hateful back. Also, we got some mad rap battle, but of course, we let that negativity harmonize even more, it's just gonna get lower, and then things just become completely destructive. So maybe it's not the safest place to stay. It's not the energy to remain at. You can look at that. So whether you engage happily or positively, or no, whether you have initially embodied positivity, when you start engaging with negative environment, negative filled environments with negative filled bodies, like, and entities out there, it may be a sign to no longer engage with such environments and entities, because it's evidence enough that they are not equipped with the skill to eventually diffuse, deter, and transmute that negativity into more positivity and construction. Because you can engage with different groups of people and you might act bad to them, but if they're properly equipped and skilled, and if they vibrate at a higher frequency, they should have that higher frequency should allow them to have the skills to deal with negative responses. So just because some protester is yelling at me about some crap doesn't mean I'm going to lose my shit and spread all this negativity back. I might just be like, hey, look, I understand what you're saying, but this is not the time for us to talk, especially when you're so heated up right now. You know, if you want, we could talk in a more calmer, safer environment. But right now, with the way you're responding to me, I don't want to engage in that, because I don't believe that's a healthy way for us to communicate. You know, when you develop those skills, you can diffuse, you can take yourself outside the situation. You can make it clear to the outside party that you refuse to engage in that situation. Thus, at least keeping your vibration and your energy at a good as level as it can be, and also allowing the outside party to maybe, you know, maintain whatever goodness is still left before they make it worse for themselves. Of course, they're hurting about something and they're trying to share what they're hurting about, which is the point I wanted to get to. When we do share negativity to other people, it's obviously a sign of something wrong. For example, if I'm engaging with anyone, sure, it's nice to be happy about stuff, but if I'm not happy or if I'm feeling negative, it means there's something wrong within me anyway. And you know what that means? It means I am not in harmony with my environment or my current setting, or with the people around me. I am not in harmony. It might be as simple as just the person I'm talking to. I'm not in harmony with them. So whenever I talk to them, I get in this really negative energy. I'm not in harmony. That negative energy, that negative feeling, that sense of destruction that might want to, manifest, all that is evidence of disharmony. And with that disharmony, you know what that means? You're in the wrong place. So it's best to move out. Get away from it, or encourage it to change to better suit you or others, depending on what's right or what's wrong. But there's a call for change, and we should always make the change within ourselves. Like, that should always be the most, the fundamental thing. But sometimes we need to change the environment as well, because just because I change myself, my whole family could still be suffering the wrath of the environment. So I can teach the whole family change within themselves, but that may not have solved the problem. Maybe some change to the environment could eventually make everything better for everyone, and now everyone who comes to this environment doesn't have to suffer from that anymore. Like a a serious gas leak of dangerous chemicals in the air. Like, yo, I know I can strengthen myself, put on a gas mask, and hey, I'm cool, because hey, look what happened. I'm so positive. I looked after myself. I put on the gas mask because it's all about, myself and positivity, blah, blah, blah. Or I could have stepped up, I could have brought myself to a higher vibration, sat and thought like, hey, all right, I know how to protect myself, but what's really going on? Oh, there's a gas leak and it's affecting everyone. No wonder it's changed how everyone is. That's why people are suffering. Maybe I can take it upon myself to try to encourage change in this environment. Fix that gas leak. Not just, protect myself and let everyone else suffer. I don't know. See, I don't like that. It's just me, individual. Fuck how everyone else feels. It's all about me at the end. I don't like that selfish, individualistic philosophy that a lot of spiritual practitioners promote. I know it's what they're showing is not always to the extremes of that example, but it's still an analogy that kind of explains the result of a lot of situations, because I see a lot of people, especially given that such styles or trends of, given such trends of spirituality create this sense of selfishness and individualism, and it's all about boundaries and my piece is the most important thing, blah blah blah. It protects people and it's good, and it ensures that they don't lower themselves further, but it doesn't change their frequency. It keeps their frequency low, because the frequency is still like, hey, I eat first. When we get to those higher frequencies, then we can see, oh, now that I've mustered enough strength to keep myself alive, how can I help everyone else now stay alive? Because of course, first you need to make sure you're strong enough so you can go out and do the mission and slay the dragon, or in this case, be well equipped and knowledgeable enough to fix that gas leak. So yes, self-preservation is important, but it's not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is not complete self-preservation. It's overall preservation for everyone. So yes, when you're on a plane and the gas mask drop, put your gas mask first, of course. But don't just put the gas mask, and when you can help the disabled person next to you who's struggling to put it on, don't just ignore them and be like, oh, I had to save myself. Motherfucker, you got your gas mask on. Go help them. It's not just about you. It's about all of us. Because when you're at that higher frequency and you can do positive things for others, isn't that what love is? Isn't that part of the love? The acceptance, the gratitude? Because, hey, this person beside me, they're suffering. I don't know them that much, but they're suffering. I still appreciate you as a form of life. I will do what I can to maybe better your situation. I might not sacrifice myself for you, but I appreciate you as another living being in my world. I appreciate you. And so I'll see what I can do to better your livelihood at this moment. I want people to remember that. I don't want people to just get caught up like, oh, the whole world is just me. And, like, I'm going to have all these boundaries because all these people, this and that. And, you're affecting my vibes and all that. Of course, we're all affecting our vibes. Everything affects our vibes. That's what happens all the time. But it's not that black and white. If we want to ascend as a species, as a society, a civilization, a consciousness, as a whole consciousness, if we want to ascend, there are better ways to go about it. And so let's learn wisdom from each other. I was going on about certain examples. So I wrote down in my notes signs to stay, signs to leave, and signs that it's safe to stay. So, like I was saying before, a sign to leave is when an external negativity, when some sort of negative energy or destructive energy outside affects you so much that it undermines or it destroys your sense of positivity. That's a good indicator to leave. For example, you go to a place full of people that start sharing hate towards you. It's best not to stay there. You can figure out ways to slightly alter the environment, but right off the bat, it already shows like this isn't the place for you. The harmony isn't there with you, so leave. Like when you're talking to people that don't appreciate what you have to offer, maybe it's a sign to leave. You can try to stay and convince them otherwise if you have the strength, if remaining in that environment can keep you in your positive form. But if you stay in that environment and it's bringing you down and ruining your sense of positivity, it's better to leave. You want to be able to stay in an environment where you're safe to remain in your positivity. That's where you can elicit the most change, create the most change. Because even though it's negative, but you are so whole in yourself and you refresh yourself and you've empowered your spirit so much that even though you're here standing amongst the lost children that are swearing and they don't know what they're saying, you can still be the adult and be like, all right, kids, this is how we enter the building. We take off our shoes, we give a bow to the host, and then we walk to the next room. We don't stand around, loiter around. The first few times it might not work, but you keep doing it, and then eventually they will start following you. The hosts start to smile more at the kids. The kids are like, hey, why is the host smiling at us? She never used to smile at us before. But hey, they're all going to follow lead. You kept your positive vibration, your high vibration. You kept leading the kids, and eventually, it all changed. And now these kids learn manners. They learn procedures can create positive outcomes because you knew that you were in the correct state to remain positive. It's good to remain in an environment as long as you can stay positive, but once you're at that point, you have to remember you might not be fit for that environment anymore. It's a shame to admit, but I left my job just a week ago, or it's 2 weeks now. I left my job 2 weeks ago. I was a bouncer, so a nightclub security guard, and I got to that point where I couldn't remain positive as long as I was there. I was kind of having mental health fits while being triggered by the unruly children of such vicinities, and my co-workers and I just knew, hey, this is not safe for me to remain. It's not safe for the public, and it's not safe for me. So I had to leave, and unfortunately I left during Christmas, New Year's time, but it was just, I wasn't able to take care of my inner peace, my spirit, while continually going to this job. I didn't have my life set up to keep me in good spirits or strong enough, high enough spirits to face such environments all the time. But hey, that's why a lot of changes are happening for me, because I can't always be on the same road all the time. That's why I'm somewhere else now. But yeah, it was time to leave. I could have convince myself, nah, I gotta stay strong, like I'm just being a weak cunt. I should just keep going and muscle it out, blah, 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 blah. Yo, my spirit was already at that point where it wasn't positive anymore. And it could only result in the worst by pushing it further. I ignored the signs to leave, like when they were already blaring in my face. So negativity and feeling negative about things, it's often a sign to leave. Sometimes it's not that black and white, because maybe Buddy over here just had a bad day and then he's, being negative. If he's good enough, if he's, a sweet enough soul, he'll know, like, hey, man, I made a mistake. The next day he'll tell you, hey, bro, I'm sorry I was talking to you like that. I didn't mean that. Let's join again and let's create more positivity between us. Then yeah, that's not a sign to leave. That guy wanted to make up for it. Just like in romantic relationships, just because there was one problem between two people doesn't mean, oh, that's it. No, we can't be together anymore. Like, we're broken up, blah, blah, blah. Strong relationships last and go on till the end because the two people are willing to work and create more positivity together. There's always going to be the circumstances where, like, even though the two try to create positivity together, they're not resulting in as much positivity. Over time, that will show. So, of course, both people are best leaving. But generally, give the effort to at least repair any damages they've done and see what you can create further. I'm sure a lot of businesses, as they start up, they made lots of mistakes and had a lot of hiccups. But the ones that continue to try to create and move forward and create more positivity, embody that spirit of construction, they're still around. They're the ones that have remained. I haven't touched this channel, this Spirit U space for such a long time, but hey, like, I thought, you know what, I gotta build something. I got something in me I want to build. I came here and I dropped this lecture. It's kind of all over the place right now, but who cares, man? I'm working with you guys to create more positivity for our whole entire world. You still want to have this relationship with me? Because, hey, man, I'm trying. And even if you leave, I'll find others to build more of this positivity with. Signs to stay. So a good sign to stay is when I'm with these people, I feel good about myself. And I don't feel good in a detrimental way to others. Like, I'm empowered at the detriment of others. Like, I hope people will learn to identify that. That's going to be for another talk, of course. But there's too many people out there, I know, because I receive this negativity from the commercial world, populace all the time. They feel positive belittling and putting down other people. That doesn't mean you're good. No. You just created destruction in your environment to feel powerful. Do you know what that means? All you've done was just looked at you're here, you've looked at the outside world was here, and all you've done was just bring the outside world down. You have not in any case gone up. You've only brought others down just to feel like you're higher. That's very sad. You are not a safe place to stay at. But the safe places to stay at, hey man, if you feel good and you're not bringing anyone down, and what you're around, who you're around, where you're around is allowing things to grow and elevate, it's a good sign. It's a good sign to stay. You know how you feel good, you feel happy, not just happy like ecstatic joy or anything. you feel peace and harmony. That harmony is that's the main indicator. That's that harmony you feel between certain people or with certain people. They're the relationships that really matter. Because in that harmony, and I don't, oh, how to say this? Staleness where nothing's happening, that doesn't mean harmony. Just because nothing's happening doesn't mean like there's harmony. Maybe like, because all it means is that the two energies, you and the other person, you haven't allowed yourselves to engage and interlope with each other yet. Not physically, but I mean just like, really dance around each other, get to know each other more. You just kept everything surface level. It's just still two separate people. It's not a complete relationship yet. The relationship has yet to ever begin. That's not harmony. That's just two people not getting close enough to create a true relationship. So that doesn't mean it's a safe place. You're only going to find out it's safe until you actually take a step towards each other and see what this relationship becomes. But besides that, the safe places are the ones that you feel peace at. The ones where you don't feel like you have to defend yourself, and like you the ones that you leave and you feel nice. If you're going to a place all the time and whenever you leave, like you're just upset and you just feel like this isn't good enough, that isn't good enough. If you're engaging in your smartphone and then whenever you leave it, you're just like, oh man, and you start thinking bad thoughts about stuff, that smartphone, that place, maybe not the smartphone, but whatever you're engaging in the smartphone, it could be like some sort of social media, could be people you're talking to. Maybe that's not a safe space for you to stay in. But the ones that don't make you feel that way, that's a safe space. And I'm telling you, it might not feel as progressive and cool as what the outside world is showing you, because the outside world is trying to show you like, hey, look at us, we're doing this and we're more grand, ha ha ha, how dare, like, look at you staying there, blah blah blah. Don't worry about what they're saying, man. Like, they could be the people who are only here, and they're trying to lower everyone else just so they feel like they're a bit higher. Maybe they don't see that you're actually up here and they don't like that. So they're like, look at you. And all they're trying to do is bring you down to level. They've done nothing to raise themselves. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about the outside world. You enjoy your level. You when you're in the right safe space, you will eventually only have one place to go, and that's raise higher. And signs that a place is safe to stay at. That's like what I was saying before. It's like when you are well equipped enough, or the environment is not so powerful that it will get rid of your overall positivity. Like, it's like what's a good example? This is a very crude example, but it'll be like standing outside and you're wearing a jacket. It's windy as hell outside, but it's not so windy and rainy that you're gonna feel uncomfortable and unhealthy. Your jacket is keeping you warm and stable. You can keep yourself in a nice, stable, homeostatic state, and the weather is not unsafe for you to stand there in. It's a safe place. For others that don't have a jacket, it might not be the best, but at least you're okay. You're well equipped. You've got the skills, the technology. You've got the common sense to, hey, maybe it's better if I go inside eventually and not stand out here forever. But you're okay on this like light, windy day. maybe on a rainy day, you're well equipped to stand outside that rainy day. Whatever, hey, that's safe for you to stay at. If you are well equipped within yourself to have your spirit remaining high, your positivity remaining high, that you can go out and face certain environments and not worry about it bringing you down, then it's safe for you to go there. Back when I was looking after my spirit and the world around me wasn't changing too much, so I started getting stressed out, like having to leave home, I could do my security job better because, hey, I wasn't stressing about all these other things trying to bring me down. You know, I didn't have to move out of the home. I wasn't dealing with some toxic people that were trying to pull me down. But unfortunately, some things happen in life and it puts me in a situation where, like, hey, maybe this once safe place wasn't safe for me anymore. But before, I was in a state and I was well equipped to keep myself safe there. So, you know, it's good to be aware of those kind of things. Be aware that it's that such places are those kind of places that, hey, maybe if internally things aren't working for me, I might have to get out. It might not be safe for me forever. Maybe because of the volatility of my life situation or the volatility of this outside environment. Things change. Things fluctuate. And what was once heaven might not always remain that way. So, you know, it's nice to at least every once in a while check up and see, like, hey, is this still good or not? Or was there a sudden change of management that I wasn't aware of, and all of a sudden this environment's not a safe place for me anymore? We have a responsibility to keep an eye on such things. We don't have to be full micromanaging and diligent and checking it every second of our day. No. But, you know, little updates every in a while is good, just to see how things are going, just to forewarn us if we should make any decisions for change or not. I wanted to explain the signs or the indicators of different interactions, or the result of different interactions. I wanted to explain what these indicators are when you engage with different people, whether they reflect back your spirit or not, whether they reflect back your positive spirit or they reflect back your negative spirit, whatever, whether there is even a reflection or a refraction or a transmutation of the energies. I want to explain these things because I want people to be aware that, hey, just because something's negative doesn't mean it's bad. It's also an indicator for maybe a change, whether it be within yourself, which should ultimately and initially be within yourself, something you could provide to the environment, or something just to completely avoid and leave for the big dogs to take care of. I don't want people to leave such spiritual teachings being small-minded and closed-minded about things. My concern is about ascension. Other people make content and spiritual teachings for protection. Mine is always about ascension, like what a father does best. It will expose you to some truths and dangers. He will expose you to some truth, some danger, some experiences, but so much so that you have room to grow and ascend and excel. Mama will protect you. Both important, because with enough protection, then you muster the strength to grow. A good balance of both is healthy. And so I'm one side of the family. And yeah, I want everyone to, take a step back sometimes and look at what's happening with them, with their engagements. It's good to embody complete positivity, but either way, when you can't, at least analyze what's happening, or find the time to, when you get home and it's time to reflect with it, give yourself 5-10 minutes just to think over what happened today. That little reflection could change you internally and empower you with the skills or the wisdom that you needed to face whatever weird and wonderful antics you face out in this world. You know what? Let's leave it there. I don't know if I hit the point that I wanted to, but whatever. I talked about it, and I hope you all have that take-home message that just be aware of how we interact with others. There is not just a direct reflection, but our spirit is affected by the outside and affects an outside entity or an outside party, and thus that outside entity being affected, it then reflects or emits, projects energy back to us, and then that's going to result in something happening to our spirit, whether it does change us, whether it empowers us, disempowers us, whatever. Let's be aware of it so we can identify whether something is still safe, something is not safe, something should be left, or something is the place that I should stay at and thrive at. I'm going to wrap it up. So, I hope you... Whatever, man. I'm talking too much. Goodbye.